Welcome to my channel. This is Bruce the Boss, and I wanted to show some clips from the protests in London this weekend as a show of solidarity for those people fighting for freedom and for their rights and for the betterment of their society, their country. Also, if left up to BBC and Sky News, they'll say that this was a protest of maybe a few French groups, of maybe a couple hundred people, at best 1,000, and that's if they cover it at all. And I wanted to share some clips to show the contrary to what is being said in the media. Also, one of the purposes of this channel to begin with was to let those who are starting to question or have been questioning some of the singular narrative that they've been receiving from the mainstream media and social media, and felt them made to feel like they're crazy if they dare question it, and they might as well just conform to fit in with the majority, with everyone else. Well, you're not alone, and I wanted to help create a space and or a channel that you can be reminded that you're not the only one that feels this way. Millions of people around the world are starting to wake up. So just remember, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video. I want to hear your thoughts on this protest. I'll leave my little commentary towards the end. So let's roll some of the clips.
I want us to reassert the fact that we're here united against the Tories. That is our unity that terrifies them. So I want you to say, we are united! We are united! We are united! We're going to get some speakers now.
You are an inspiration right now of what the future can look like. And we're here at a crossroads of our history. I'm Amelia Womack, I'm Deputy Leader of the Green Party and Co-Chair of the People's Assembly. And here we are, using our democratic rights to get our message heard. Because we are ancient struggle. The Tories and the capitalist class that they represent are intent on destroying the very idea that in a rich society such as ours, we have a right to all the services that make the difference between a civilised life and one of despair, ignorance and disease. The Tories have one aim: to hand our public services over to big companies and multinationals to extract as much profit as they can from what is rightfully ours. 24 people during this pandemic became billionaires. Think about that. They know that they are robbing us blind, and beneath all their contempt and arrogance, they're scared because what we have that they don't have, is solidarity. The police crime sentencing and courts bill strikes at the heart of democracy. Okay.
So they were protesting quite a bit in this. It was not just a protest against the government per se, but a protest for the people against an array of different issues. Many of those issues included a lot of the cuts that the UK and the Tories and Boris Johnson are making towards the NHS and the healthcare system, cuts to nurses' pay, cuts to actual health care, resulting in millions of Britons, and there are those in the UK, being denied adequate access to health care, including millions on a wait list that's extending as long as 12 months to a little over a year, much like the failures that we're seeing in the United States toward the healthcare system. So a lot of the fights, whether you're in America, the United States, UK, Australia, is a lot the same. They're also protesting against a lot of the COVID restrictions that are very intrusive over there in the lives of the UK. They're fighting for their rights to do what they want, fighting against mandatory vaccinations in certain instances, fighting against mandatory vaccines. They're fighting for young and adults. They're fighting against some of the, I don't want to talk about anything that would potentially get me flagged, but they're just talking about some of the efficacy of the vaccines and there are certain safety concerns that they may have. But if you have any safety concerns, always consult with your physician, your doctor. All right. They're fighting against a lot of the lies being told on mainstream media. As I mentioned at the start, if left up to BBC and Sky News, as they've done before in many other protests in the recent past, over the past several months over there in the UK, they'll say, and they'll downplay it by saying this was just a crowd of thousands, when in reality, again, you're talking about a minimum of 100,000. If they cover it at all, because the main purpose is don't talk about it, don't encourage them, don't let them know that they have the numbers to actively affect change. We saw a lot of people protesting in solidarity with the people in Palestine and a lot of the humanitarian, what can I say? I guess you can say the denial of humanitarian effort and or persecution of the Palestinians at the hands of Israel and the occupation of Palestine and what's going on in Gaza right now. So you heard a lot of chants of free Palestine, while at the same time they're also fighting against anti-Semitism. This is not going to be, they don't want to foster and encourage of hate towards Jews and or the people of Israel. So you can fight against, as they're trying to encourage, the state of Israel and what's being done to the people of Palestine, while at the same time not hating the people of Israel, because we're seeing a wave of anti-Semitism around the world, particularly here in the United States. I know I did a video on attacks on Jewish people in New York City, Diamond District of Manhattan. If you haven't already, checked that video out. So they're fighting against all of that. They're fighting against racism. Apparently there are a lot of racist policies being executed by the Tories and Boris Johnson as it pertains specifically to targeted deportation efforts of migrants or immigrants into those in power, whether you're talking about the government, mainstream media, or social media. They want you to forget that you actually have the numbers. They may have the power, but that's only because a lot of the people are consensually given away the power that they have. So you have people in government that forget that they work for the people. They're supposed to serve and represent the people. Instead, what you're getting a lot of is they are putting these, I guess you can say, authoritarian and totalitarian measures and restrictions and policies without ever consulting the people and just forcing the people to comply, all the while stealing their rights from up under them and not even giving them an ability to protest and or debate and discuss whether or not they want these policies to begin with. Because it's one thing if that's what the people decided on, but instead of representatives going to the people that they're supposed to represent and asking, what do you think of this? What is it you would like me to take back to the to Congress or to Parliament in this particular case? Instead, they're dictating the rules to the public and not allowing discourse. Then you have the people in the media who are just dictating what it is you hear rather than giving the news that the people are asking for, digging into stories that the people in those communities and or across that country want to hear. They're telling the people what it is you want to hear, what it is you're allowed to hear, what it is you're allowed to know, and what it is you're not allowed to know, as been exposed recently with Ivory Hecker when she exposed her own bosses and leadership there at Fox Corp, or more specifically Fox 26 in Houston, literally saying, despite the fact that there are many people in Houston area or Harris County, Texas, that want to hear about Bitcoin, for instance, you have the manager there saying, no. The people at the 5 o'clock hour, they don't want to hear about Bitcoin, especially since you're dealing with a lot of black individuals who apparently know nothing about stock markets. That's what they think. You also had, who was it? Oh, I forgot that from the Hill Rising, Crystal Ball and Sager actually left. Why? Because nothing against the Hill personally, but they were being dictated what they were allowed to talk about, and it was all clickbait information, not going in depth of things that the people actually wanted to hear. So there's a lot of restrictions in the mainstream media on what they do and allow you to cover. And as even April Moss, if you haven't checked any of those videos out regarding some of the reporters coming out and blowing the whistle, have admitted that, hey, we're being muzzled into what it is we're even not only allowed to cover, but when we do cover a story, what we're allowed to ask. So they're protesting against that. And then you have the social media that is actively censoring this discussion, censoring what it is you're allowed to share and or talk about in what is now the new public forum. So there's a big fight against that. So just showing solidarity against the powers that want you to believe that they have all the power. They are the gateway to what it is you're allowed to do, what it is you're allowed to know. But when in truth, if the people stand united, you can overthrow those who have real power. You can make active change. You can get the society that it is that you want. So that's all I had to say here. Let me know what you think in the comment section regarding this revolution in the UK. Will it result to much? Are you in support? This is Bruce the Boss Brooks. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video. Power to the people. Peace.